guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to share this delicious recipe with you. It will be lamb riblets with thinly sliced roasted potatoes with herbs. So let's just jump in real quick into the ingredient list. What you will need is 3.5 pounds of lamb riblets, 1.5 pounds of potatoes, 125 grams of shallots, 4 garlic cloves, 2 cups of chicken broth, 4 ounces of butter, cilantro, rosemary and thyme, and for the spices you will need paprika, garlic powder, red crushed pepper flakes, peppercorns, cumin seed, and salt. Okay guys, so let's just jump right into it. The preparation of the meal. I already got everything peeled. Just gotta mention one thing with the potatoes. If you're gonna get distracted, walk away, or if this meal is gonna take you a little longer to cook than you anticipated, make sure you keep them in nice cold water so they don't oxidize or they'll start turning dark color on you. So just grab your knife and your shallots or your onions. If you don't have shallots, that's fine. You can start, slicing them pretty thin, just like that. Okay. Or if you have one of these Japanese mandolins that you can pick up for about maybe $20, you can set your thickness and slice it on the mandolin. Just watch your fingers. Okay, just like that. Okay. Kind of break them up a little bit. Okay, break it up. And same thing with the potato. You can either do it with your knife. You're looking for about 1/4 inch thickness on those. Okay, something like that. That'll work. Not too thin, not too thick. Or you can use your mandolin again. Set up the thickness. Okay, just like that. For consistency, if you're doing a lot, it's much faster. Okay. All right, that's set. All right, guys, so for the riblets, what you will need, you'll need a really sharp fillet knife, and it's very important to get rid of the silver skin that's covering the meat right here. The reason for that is you won't get that beautiful caramelization on the meat and the seasonings won't go through it. So you need to take it off. It's a little challenging, but it's once you get your knife underneath and you kind of run down just like that, exposing the meat as much as possible, okay, without taking much meat off. So this is the silver skin we're talking about. Okay, go in with your knife and you go on there. Okay, just like that. This portion here is nice. You can leave that on because that's the fat. Fat is flavor, that's fine. But for the silver skin, this is it. That needs to come off. That's not edible. Unless you're gonna cook these ribs for like hours and hours, 3 hours, which we're not gonna do. This is a different kind of preparation. Maybe then it'll break down into the sauce that you're making or whatnot. It'll get more tender and it'll be more edible, but I don't suggest it. You got to take it out. So as I was saying, this is what you're looking for. You're looking for nice exposed meat. Some fat can be left. Let me just get a little more of the silver skin right underneath here. Okay, and this is what you get. You get a little waste, but it's not edible, so you have no use for it. Just like that, expose it, and you have a little silver skin on this side, Just go underneath with your knife and cut it out like so. Okay. Alright. Now for those riblets, the ribs are right here. You can feel where they're ending. So just go with your sharp knife and cut them up. Okay. Okay. And this is what we're looking for. Right here, we're looking for these pieces right here. This is nice. Okay. Once you have all your meat cut up, everything's done, you're gonna go over to, again, pastel is really optional, but the flavors are more fragrant. The peppercorns especially, put them in. Your cumin seed, red pepper flakes, some salt, paprika, and garlic powder. Crush it up. All right, it's time to season the meat with the mix that I just prepared in this mortar. So what I will do, I'll just take a few spoons of it right in the bowl. Now, a little butter. Okay, just like that. Mix it up. Time to get your hands dirty a little bit. Okay, right on the bowl. Mix it really, really well so it's all nicely coated with that butter and the seasoning, just like that. Okay. And it is ready. Okay. Let's put this aside. All right. All right, so now it's time to put this dish together. Right before it goes into the oven, you'll need your brush. Okay. Rub your, it could be a pan like this, or it can be any safe, oven safe dish that'll work, that you have in your kitchen will work. So rub that. Right, we'll put some of those, we're gonna build some layers. So what we'll do, some shallot right on the bottom, some of these potatoes, just like that. Your garlic, alright, some thyme, just break it off the sprig and go over it like that. You're going to season every layer, salt and pepper. Go over with the butter. A little mess there. Alright, just like that. Then again, you start with your shallot. Alright, so what I want to mention here is your shallot and your garlic should be on the layer below the last layer of the potatoes. You don't want the shallots or the garlic to be exposed because you will burn in the oven. So as you are building, you want that potato layer to be last right there. So you got about 3 layers, 3 good layers of potatoes and shallots, and you don't want that shallot to be exposed too much. Okay, like that. And go over with butter one more time. The rest of the butter you have right in there. We're gonna season it. Okay. All right, at this point, you put your stock in there. Your chicken stock goes over to like kind of the sides. Don't pour it right over because you're gonna wash the seasoning away. Go around in a circular motion like that and fill it up all around, okay? So that's done. You can put a few your rosemary a little bit here and there, okay? And now your meat can go over it. So all right, so we're almost there. Like I said, it's a pretty simple recipe, nothing crazy. You have it all set up, layers of potato, shallot, and garlic with herbs, meat on top, and you just put it in the oven right in the middle, okay, just like that. Oven is set at 400 degrees, and we'll check on it. We'll give it about at least 30-35 minutes. And we'll come back and we'll check, and the meat should be nicely roasted. All right, guys, so the timer's about to go off. It's been about 35 minutes. I'm gonna pull our meal out of the oven, and I'm gonna just check on it to see where we are. The pan is really hot, so I'm gonna just roll this. Okay, so in our case here, everything looks good. We got the caramelization that I was looking for. It's nicely caramelized, so that's where the flavor is. Oh, there goes the timer. Let's turn it off. So what I need to do now is, it's caramelized, but it's not as tender as I'm looking. It's not as tender as I want it to be. So what I'm gonna do, I got these 2 pieces of foil, and I'm gonna just cover it. And put it back in for another half hour to tenderize the meat. Okay, let's set the timer. There we go. And we'll be back in half hour. Our timer is about to go off. We got about another 30 seconds left to check on the doneness of the riblets, just to make sure that they're nice and soft. And by the way, I just noticed a nice beautiful rainbow out the window. See if you can capture it. So let's take them out. Beautiful. Okay, that's what we're looking for. All right, so we're gonna take the ribs off the top. Okay, so now it's time. So we got the riblets off, our potatoes, and the potatoes have been cooking in all this juice and lamb fat that we need to get out of our pan. We'll just take it out this way, and we're gonna send the potatoes back in the oven to caramelize, right? So we're looking for the roasted potatoes, as I've promised when we just started this video. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take the fat out just like that. The potatoes are nice and tender by now, but we need that caramelization for flavor. Okay, so I've got most of the juice and fat out of the pan. Okay, so the potatoes, they're cooked, but they need that caramelization that we talked about. So the potatoes can go back into the oven. Now, our ribs, okay, we're gonna transfer them into a sheet pan like this. Okay. Okay, they're nice and soft, but we're gonna just caramelize them so they get nice and brown on all sides. They go into the oven as well, just the bottom. And we're at 425 now for the caramelization, and we'll set it for 20 minutes. Okay. So in 20 minutes we'll check on it, and hopefully everything is nice and caramelized, and we'll go from there. Okay, our meat and potatoes been in the oven for 20 minutes. On about 10 minutes into it, I took the meat out. I flipped it over once. So let's check on it now. And the riblets are beautifully roasted, really nice. And the potatoes are done. Okay, everything's ready to come out of the oven. And so I just want to mention, if the timer went off, 20 minutes. So I just want to mention a few things. So the potatoes, you know how we pulled all the fat off of them? There was a way of cooking them where we had the meat, the ribs, lamb has a lot of fat on it. The lamb fat rendered from the heat into our potatoes. That's a way, that's the French way of calling it is confit. When you cook something and it's similar to frying, but it's done in the oven on a low heat, low temperature. So it's not really fried potatoes, it's confit potatoes. They're nice and soft. Then we took the fat out and we crisped them up a little bit with the high heat of the oven. So everything's kind of ready. Time to start plating everything. Okay. The ribs are done, the potatoes are done. Plates nice and hot. Some of that cilantro. Alright, so it's easy as that. We have completed our meal. It's time to try it out, and let's get set up. Alright, so it's time to eat, right? So why don't you have a try?
These potatoes are extremely flavorful. Wow, very tender. I'm gonna try the meat now. really good, really juicy. Tastes amazing. All different flavors. Wow.
All right, guys, so here, that's how you make a really good, simple meal. It's a good time. We're in quarantine time. Really good time to spend, a few hours learning, playing with different recipes. It's not going to come out perfect every time. Again, cooking is visual. Just because I have my times with the recipe that I'm going to submit to you guys doesn't mean that your oven will have to. It's going to vary. You have to keep an eye. Caramelization takes time. Some ovens will take a little faster, a little slower. So it's all visual, it's all hands-on. Just because one of my family members might call me and ask me for a recipe, I might give it to them and they say, oh, I didn't have that same color as you did. Well, your oven might be a few degrees off, and if it's in there for half an hour, that plays a big role on the outcome. Did you overcrowd the oven? Was your meat hot or cold when you put it in? So there's a lot of variations. But cooking is really fun.